Today on Straight Talk Africa, Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi died August 20th. In death, President Obama praised Meles for his commitment to the poor, calling it an untimely loss for Ethiopia. In life, critics say the man led a repressive regime, arguing that service delivery was more important for his people than civil liberties and democracy. Many of those critics expect more repression from interim leader Heinlein, but others say it opens a window of opportunity for fundamental changes. That's coming up next on Straight Talk Africa. Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's Wednesday, August 29th. I am Shaka Ssali. Today, we take a closer look at Ethiopia as the Horn of Africa nation moves forward following the death of Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. The U.S. State Department says the death of Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi is a loss for the peace process in Sudan and South Sudan, but could bring about an improvement in human rights inside Ethiopia. We have two reports. First, VOA State Department correspondent Scott Stans.
Prime Minister Meles Zenawi played an active role in helping end the long-running civil war in Sudan. The U.S. Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan, Princeton Lyman, says his passing is a great loss.
He was always a source of great counsel, wisdom, but he also played a very dramatic role in helping bring about stability in Sudan and South Sudan, most particularly in providing peacekeepers to the troubled area of Abyei.
Mr. Meles also backed African Union peacekeeping efforts in neighboring Somalia. The United States has lost an important ally, says the National Democratic Institute's Africa expert, Christopher Fomonyo.
You have Somalia, which is a failed state to the east, and then you had Sudan, which for many years was in a state of civil war. And so Ethiopia became the anchor in that part of the African continent. And I think that the U.S. is going to look for ways to maintain that relationship with Meles's replacement.
Successive U.S. presidents, however, expressed concern about the Prime Minister's repression of political dissent.
Meles's legacy is very negative: increased poverty, increased human rights violation, increased oppression, and divide the unity of the people.
Human rights abuses leave Prime Minister Meles with a mixed record, says Christopher Fomonyo.
The infrastructure is much improved now compared to what it was in the years of the Civil War. He's done a lot to stabilize the country and the sub-region of the Horn of Africa, but he's also left a very questionable legacy with regards to human rights, respect for the media, freedoms of the press, respect for the opposition, and creating political space in Ethiopia.
Fomonyo says Mr. Meles never found the balance between the growth of commerce and the expansion of civil liberties.
In Africa today, our leaders ought to be able to realize that economic development as well as political development are mutually reinforcing. They're not mutually exclusive.
In a written statement, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said she admired Mr. Meles's commitment to expanding education and health services. She said the United States is confident Ethiopia will navigate this political transition according to its constitution.
Not everyone feels as positive about the man who ruled Ethiopia for 21 years.
Several hundred Ethiopian activists came from across the United States to protest meetings involving Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi.
Meles Zenawi has been widely criticized for stifling political dissent, clamping down on and controlling the media, and benefiting from rigged elections. Periodic political violence and government crackdowns of protests have claimed hundreds, if not thousands, of lives under his iron rule. He came to power in 1991 after helping to oust Mengistu Haile Mariam's communist military junta, responsible for thousands of Ethiopian deaths. He continued the Mengistu regime's censorship of famine and drought coverage and stamped out dissent. Meles is credited with elevating the nation of more than 85 million people into a regional and economic power. but most of the population remains desperately poor. Ethiopian human rights activist Dr. Abeba Fakade.
That's the legacy of Mallas and his regime. Poverty, the highest level of poverty, human rights violation, the highest, dictatorship, and displacement of people. And in fact, Mallas is accused and charged of genocide.
Government spokesman Barakat Salmon.
Succession for us is not a matter of replacing this leader by that leader. Succession for us had been a planting of Mr. Mallas' ideas, his organization's ideas in the hearts and minds of the people. And that we have been ensured.
Deputy Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn is now Prime Minister. He will lead Ethiopia at least until new elections in 2015, finishing out the term of Meles. Even as Ethiopia mourns the passing of Meles Zenawi, critics say the new leader is in a position to bring much-needed democratic change and improved press freedoms. Meles Zenawi will be buried in Addis Ababa September 2nd. He was 57. Paul Sisko, VOA News.